Talk to me, baby, I've been waiting for a lifetime. Just keep on.
Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Brooke. Today we're going to be doing a DIY tutorial on how to make those beautiful chunky knit blankets. For this craft, you do not need to know how to knit. You don't even need knitting needles. All you need is yarn and your hands. I'm going to be using Lion Brand Chunky Knit yarn in the color Linen. I got my yarn at Joann's Fabric, but you can get Chunky Knit yarn at any craft store or even on Amazon. If you haven't already, don't forget, subscribe below and give this video a big thumbs up, and let's get into it. To get started, you're going to want to find the end of your yarn and lay it out on a flat surface. Then you're going to take the end and lay the end across the yarn to create a loop. So we just took the end, we're laying it across. Now that we've created this loop, we're gonna stick our fingers through that loop and grab a piece of the yarn that's connected to the main yarn ball. And we're going to pull that through to create a loop. Now we want this loop to be about the size to fit your thumb and pointer. About this big is the perfect size. Then we're gonna stick our fingers through and pull more yarn through this loop to create another loop. And we want to keep our loops the same size or as close as possible. We're gonna stick our thumb and pointer again, grab more of the yarn and pull it through. Again, keeping our loops as close in size as possible, and we're just gonna continue doing this. As we are pulling these loops, we are creating a braid. And this braid is going to be the width of our project. So however many loops you create, this is how wide your project will be. To create a blanket that is a throw blanket size, you're going to want to create 28 to 30 loops if you're using this yarn. Otherwise, just keep pulling loops until your project is as wide as you want it to be. So we're gonna keep pulling through. Today, I'm only going to be making a small version of the blanket so I can show you all stages without this being a half-hour video. Once you've gotten to the end and this is the correct width that you want your project to be, you're going to notice that there is a loop at the end, or the most recent loop that you created. This loop is going to be your first stitch. We are going to take the yarn and we're going to lay it against the project, right here alongside it. And this first loop is going to be your first stitch. So now we're gonna do the same thing where we're going to stick our fingers through and pull a new loop. But now where do we go from here? So alongside your braid, you'll notice the sides of each of these braids. Each of those sides is going to be where you're going to pull your loop through. And those are going to be the beginnings of each stitch. So I've got one right here, I've got one right here, I've got one right here, and so on and so forth. So we just pulled through our first loop, we have our yarn right here, and now the side of the braid that I was talking about, we're going to pull a loop through there. And here's the next braid, that side, we're going to be pulling a loop through there. And it becomes a lot easier once you have your first row going. So here's another one. Going to be pulling a loop. Notice that I'm making these loops as close in size as possible. These are going to be our stitches, and if they are inconsistent sizes, you're going to be able to see that. So I just finished the last one in the row. Once you get to the end of the row, you're gonna lay the yarn out alongside the project again. And we're just gonna start over. So through these new loops, the most recent one is going to become your first one. We're just gonna pull through and create a new loop. Pull through the last loop that we created, create a new one. Here's the last loop that we created. Pull through, create a new one. And whatever direction you're pulling from, make sure you do the same. So all of them kind of go, they might turn a little bit, but you can see how they go flat. and you want to always go from the back forward. Because if you come in from different directions, it will show inconsistency in your stitches. As I'm finishing the last loop on this row, I'm going to take more yarn and lay it alongside the project. And we're just going to start again. The last one I did, or the most recent, is going to become the first stitch. And we're just going to continue doing this. So when we were initially creating that braid, that determined the width of the project. Now we are going to continue adding more and more rows until our project is at the desired length we want. You can continue to create new rows until the project is as long as you want. So I'm going to continue here for a while, and I will bring you back when we are ready to end the project. Once your project is at the desired length, you are ready to end the project or cast off. As you can see, we have created beautiful rows, and because our loops were as small as they were, we created a tight knit. The larger your loop, the looser the knit will be. So when we're ready to end the project, we're going to do the same thing as before. However, instead of doing each individual loop, we're going to use 2 loops at once and then pull through. Put our fingers through the new loop and grab one more. And once again, pull through. Put fingers through the new loop, grab another, and pull through. And we're going to continue to do this, and it'll create a beautiful braided edge. Once you finish casting off all the loops, you're going to have this beautiful braided edge and one remaining loop. With this one remaining loop, you're going to cut about 6 inches of remaining yarn and feed it through the loop and pull tight. With the remaining 6 inches, you are then going to weave it throughout the project to make it invisible. You are now done with your blanket. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this DIY tutorial on chunky knit blankets. If you give this a try, please let me know in the comments below. I would love to know how it works out for you. If you enjoy watching DIY videos, head over to my channel and check out my DIY playlist. Thank you guys again so much for watching. If you haven't already, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and tune in next week for another video. Thank you guys so much. Take care.
Talk to me, baby, I've been waiting for